for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, Easy Mutt. Use code VENOM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's good guys, Venom Fire here, back from the video, and today I'm bringing you guys another man coverage scheme. You guys showed a lot of support on the last one, so I'm going to bring you guys another way to run man coverage. It's the most popular defense in the game right now, and we're going to add some new concepts to some basic man coverage schemes. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys do hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers, so if you could hit that button, if you're new, you've been watching for a while, it would be much appreciated. Also, drop me a follow on Twitter. Link will be down below in the description. Go ahead and toss me a follow there for updates on my channel. But yeah, let's go and hop into the video now. We got another man coverage, like I mentioned. We're going to be out of the 3-3-5 wide against the most popular defense right now. We're going to be running this cover one robber. Now, this is a new concept for me. I haven't run this a whole lot, but overall, I ran this a little bit in Draft Champs, a little bit off camera, and I have had some pretty decent success running it on a different account. But yeah, so cover one robber. Again, it's a little bit different. We get some certain unique zones, or unique coverages that will help us overall. So we're going to adjust our zone drops very briefly. We won't be using this throughout the entire video, but towards the end, we're going to hop into some of the other zones. We're going to set our curl flats to actually 25. I think I like that a little bit better for this particular scheme. And overall, yeah, let's go ahead and get straight into it. So again, I'm in the 4-6 defensive playbook. We're going to be audibling from 3-3-5 to 3-3-5 wide, so we can get safeties at linebacker. Now you're going to be actually in this play scheme, you're going to be using these outside linebackers. So I'm just going to be using this guy today, and I did throw Roquan there, but again, usually you'd want two safeties at those outside linebacker spots. We're going to be using him despite his low overall today. So again, just set it up basic in your audibles. I put it at X audible, cover one robber, and then just come out in stock man-to-man coverage, cover two man. And yeah, overall, let's go ahead and get straight into it. I'm just going to go over a couple of like gun bunch setups probably. As far as that's concerned, just a couple of basic popular plays out of the gun bunch formation. That seems to be one of the most popular offenses that man coverage is good against, so we're going to be running that. So again, man coverage, we're going to go ahead simply audible. So again, you want to be in man coverage depending if it was a trip set. You can't audible from zone to man, so you would have to be in man so that you have all three corners if it were like a trips formation. In our case, it's bunch, so it wouldn't really affect it too much, but again, something like trips, that's something that you kind of want to do. Again, we're going to audible, just press that X or square button, D-pad to the left, and then X again, boom, get this simple audible system. Now, the reason that we're using this outside linebacker right here is simply because we're going to just keep those two top zones the same. So the basic setup I'm going to run, and this is something that I've noticed and had pretty good success with, I'm just going to simply press, and overall I'm just going to shade underneath. So I'm going to shade underneath to get that better jam at the line of scrimmage. I recommend getting those one step ahead abilities as well for the man coverage scheme. But overall, just for our first setup, we're just going to press, shade underneath, and then we're going to go ahead and shift our D-line to the strong side, which is the left in our case. Now again, our user is going to be this player right here. So I could leave him here if I want to kind of catch my opponent off guard. But then if he runs the ball, I'm not really going to be a factor at all. So usually I'll just kind of shift him. I'll put him on a blitz or a spy to get the better usering. And I'll just kind of chill out over here. So this is the stock way to run it. Now, as far as our deep help over the top, I'm more concerned really with that solo side receiver beating me. So I can almost kind of flip these zones if I wanted to. But for starters, we'll just leave it like this. With our 3-rack hook and our inside third. The inside third, surprisingly, with enough speed, can cover a ton of ground in this year's game. And especially with how good the one-step ahead abilities, people are more likely to lob the ball to beat man coverage rather than having to go ahead and bullet pass, because if they bullet pass, you can sometimes click on get an interception. And really against bunch, it's not too big of a concern because the solo receiver is going to be on the wide side of the field. So I'm not concerned with that because there's less space over there, which means this guy right here should be more likely to go ahead and make a play on the ball. Again, we'll talk about some scenarios if I want to go with two deep safeties. But yeah, this is just the basic setup. We got our user, we got a 3-rack hook. Run just this basic bench pivot type setup play. You see just the jam at the line of scrimmage is going to be really good. Just look at this zig route, just get absolutely mauled by Buster's screen right there. And you see relatively good pressure sending three people, but yeah, I just want you guys to take a look at what Danny Amendola does off this press. Now, I know Amendola is not exactly that special of a receiver, but I mean, just take a look at every single route. You see Hawkinson, he's completely clamped up, and this with no abilities. This is man coverage, no abilities. We have one good corner over on this left side, Kyle Fuller. The rest are going to be 70 overalls and below, I believe. But yeah, just take a look at this zig route. He's going to initially go, boom, he gets jammed. He's actually going to end up like running it again, and he's still relatively covered. By that time, I can defend both at the same time. So overall, it's just a very, very good defensive scheme. Again, we'll talk about some deep shots because if they end up beating you off the line of scrimmage, you don't want it to be 7. That's almost why my play average was so high, because I gave up 1 touchdown while I was labbing this online. But again, just press, shade underneath, and for our starter basic setup, we're just going to shift to that strong side, and then we're going to go ahead and user this outside linebacker. Now, the way you determine which player you're going to user is obviously the one that's not manned up on anyone. If this play was flipped vice versa, I would be using Roquan Smith over on that right-hand side. But yeah, this is a good play, especially if people are going to come out here and just snap the ball immediately. So you see, boom, pressure relatively good. I kind of hop over and defend A right there. Then I can go back and use their other stuff. The 3 receiver hook's not even really doing too much in this case because it's kind of sideline concepts. So you do have that 3 receiver hook. An easy way to kind of filter through these setups I'm going to go through is I could easily just deep half as well. If I'm going to do that, I could just run cover to man, which again would be a little bit easier if you ask me. But yeah, that's an easy adjustment. If I have cover 1 robber in my audibles, just to kind of switch through these, that would be an easy way to get double safety help over the middle of the field. And overall, not too difficult to set up. As far as some other things I want to talk about, we could definitely hop into some other things. So, depending on which side, so you really have to pay attention. Our corner routes are not too popular. Crossing routes, and I don't honestly see deep routes going to the left too often. Now, there's routes that could beat it, like simple corner routes out of Z spot, corner routes out of bench pivot. The man coverage does a relatively good job, and you can usually user those. The routes that I'm more concerned with are going to be playmakers and overall, what is it called? Crossers. So sorry about that, but playmakers and crossers, and usually that's going to be with Marvin Jones, that solo side receiver. He's going to be the one doing it. So I have a pretty good counter to that, I think. I like to just throw my defensive lineman in a curl flat. Now, curl flats are deeper, so it's not going to defend a playmaker good per se, but again, crossers, and it really does depend on the setup. But this is just a good two-man rush setup. You can slant outside to get better sheds, but this is overall a decent setup if you ask me. The 3 receiver hook, you can even like kind of bring him down in the box, so he's going to defend things better. I'll run like let's run like a Z spot concept here, because that's what I was kind of talking about. Here would be a popular setup. Wrong play, but here's a popular setup rather. Out of this Z spot, and we'll just kind of show what the defense does and showcases against it. You see, I'm going to use our RB because he's the one that gets separation, but B, he was covered relatively well there. If he were to playmaker back, that would be a bag. Now again, sending 2 people without having really a good rusher, you're not going to get too good of pressure. That's something that you know, and that's why you get good defensive linemen on your ultimate team. That's one of the reasons that send 2 defense in all pro mode is not all that popular in weekend league, although there are a good amount of people that do it, but more of an all Madden style defense with those really good block sheds. Again, it's still something that you can easily run if you wanted to, and it's a good thing to mix up as well, because you can also send heat out of this formation, you catch him off guard, and then you hit him with the 2-man rush. So again, that setup was just press, shade underneath, shift to the left. I went ahead and I slanted outside, and then I went ahead and put this AD lineman in a curl flat. And again, I'm still using McManus right here. Overall, pretty good coverage. And you see out of Z spot, there were routes that got open. The corner route was wide open, but I am able to user that. And again, I could easily kind of flip these zones, so I could easily put Akeem Hicks. Now, Akeem Hicks is not athletic at all, but I can kind of flip through here, and I would kind of have to trust my 3-rec, although 3-rec's not very good against playmaker, but again, this is a different option, and this would be better against a route combination, probably like Flood or something, that you would probably see online, just like a little basic route combo like this. Again, man coverage, we're going to kind of focus in on here, but you see the RB button, Akeem Hicks is right there. Our man coverage is right there. The deep shot, I believe, was covered pretty well. And again, there's ways to alternate that deep zone. So, for example, if I wanted to kind of flip these things a little bit, not only can I kind of take away that 3-rec if it's not doing a whole lot for me, I could easily go with something like this. But I can also flip that. So again, I mentioned that the solo side receiver is usually more likely to beat you deep, where I could throw a zone drop on that bunch side. So what I would basically do in that case is just flip these like this, and then I still have my 3 rushers. I still have my man coverage shade underneath. I just don't have help over the middle. But overall, I can send 3 people, still get decent pressure, and get my really good coverage behind them. That's definitely an option. Again, just overall pretty simple coverage if you ask me. So again, I would shade underneath, then I would put the curl flat so that I get my man coverage playing right, and then I get my curl flat playing right as well. So that's an easy option. Again, out of something like a Z spot, they try to beat you deep. Maybe they throw beyond like a fade route. Go with kind of a basic route combination, something like this here. And they just go ahead and snap the ball. You'd see that the coverage is going to be pretty well down the field. That fade route, it did get separation even with a slow receiver. That's why we threw the deep half. So there's definitely ways to adjust around it. I really like this defense, and overall, just the stock setup is the reason that I would kind of go with it over a cover 2 man, just because that 3-rec hook. I don't really have any abilities on offense that I would show it be super good against, but against like backside slants, single side posts, S posts, backside S posts, out of like a PA dig fork, also just like crossers from left to right, post routes. It's going to be more beneficial against those. You can definitely go try it out yourself, lab it against like a hot route master bunch, try out some of the setups, and I believe you should have success. But overall, that's pretty much going to do for the video. If you guys enjoyed, again, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Again, we're on the road to 15,000 subscribers. And yeah, follow me on Twitter. Link will be down below in the description. And yeah, peace. I'm out of here.